Hello, how are you? Okay, good morning to everyone. Today we shall do another two passages from Macbeth, scene 5th, Act 1. You have understood very well that Macbeth has been conferred the title of the Thane of Cawdor by the king, and the king is very much happy and pleased with him, and he makes two announcements that his son will be the successor to him and he will be the guest at Macbeth's castle tonight. So, having this message, Macbeth now returning towards his castle, towards Lady Macbeth. When Macbeth was returning from the battlefield, after having met the three witches, he wrote a letter to Lady Macbeth telling every detail about the three witches, how they met and what they spoke, and how their two predictions came true. Lady Macbeth is reading this letter in which these everythings have been written by Macbeth. She also got the idea that Macbeth wants to become the king of Scotland. And she is also very much eager to see him the king of Scotland. She has understood very well that Macbeth is ambitious, but she knows very well that Macbeth, the nature of Macbeth, is very weak. He is full of humanity. He is very much kind. He will not be able to attempt the act or commit the act that he needs to become the king of Scotland. So, Lady Macbeth knows it very well. So, after having read the letter, she speaks these words. That is, now she is going to make Macbeth bold. She is inviting Macbeth that please do come here so that she can prepare him for uh, the act. She has also got the news that King Duncan is arriving very soon to her castle to stay with them at night. So she felt that was the good opportunity for them to use it and kill King Duncan so that Macbeth can become the king of Scotland. So she speaks these lines. Let's see. He thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valour of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal. So these are the lines spoken by Lady Macbeth after having read the letter sent by Macbeth. So here she is inviting Macbeth. And here I would also like to tell you the important thing that the name of the castle of Macbeth or Lady Macbeth is Inverness. They are staying there and the king is to come there. So in these lines, Lady Macbeth speaks, invites Macbeth. She is very much eager to get the kingship for her husband, as well as for herself, the title of queen that she is going to take. So she doesn't want Macbeth to miss this opportunity. She also says that Macbeth is ambitious, as I have told you, and but he won't be able to commit the act of murder. So she speaks in this way that she could make him ready. Lady Macbeth possesses this courage. So she wants him, Macbeth, to come to her so that she may pour her spirit into him, so that she may fill her spirit into him. It means she considers herself very stern, very bold, very stubborn, courageous, more courageous than Macbeth. Then she says she wants to drive away all the obstacles, chastise all the obstacles that come his way in achieving the crown by her bold and fiery words. So she is inviting Macbeth that please do come here so that she can fill him with the bold and fiery words which will remove all the obstacles in order to get the crown. She also says that this golden crown, that is the King of Scotland, becoming King of Scotland, has been offered to him by his luck, by his fate, as well as by the witches. Witches are the metaphysical aids. Here the word metaphysical aid. Metaphysical aid means the witches. So the witches have offered him. The witches have also told him that he will become the King of Scotland one day. So it is his luck, and it has been offered by the witches. So he must not have any hesitation in having that title or in having the crown of Scotland. So in this way we see how Lady Macbeth invite Macbeth. I may pour my spirits in thine ear and chastise with the valor of my tongue. So she will use her tongue, that is very fearful, fiery words, very courageous words, so that all the impedes means here obstacles. The obstacles which are on the way, in the way from the golden round, in the way to achieve the golden round, the golden crown, which fate and metaphysical aid, which luck, his fate and metaphysical aid means the the witches have bestowed upon him. So there is to have the crown withal, means there is no hesitation. He must not have any hesitation to achieve or to get this crown. Now, if we see from the critical note point of view, few things come very clear. Number one, that here we can compare and contrast the character of Lady Macbeth and Macbeth. Macbeth is supposed to be here ambitious, but he is lacking courage and weak in mind. Whereas Lady Macbeth is bold, having a stable mind. She is ready to take any step to fulfill the desire of her husband. So here we can also say that Lady Macbeth is doing nothing else except desiring the thing for her husband. So every lady, every wife would like to do so for the sake of their husband. So Lady Macbeth is doing the same. And we also have seen that it is we will also see in the next scenes that it is Lady Macbeth who prepares Macbeth to commit the murder of King Duncan. Because Macbeth is very emotional, very kind, very fearing, and is not able to take any kind of such steps. So these were the lines spoken by Lady Macbeth in this scene. Now, in the same scene, we have another important lines. Let us see. And these lines again are also spoken by Lady Macbeth. Because this scene fifth, is full of the dialogues of Lady Macbeth. Here, Lady Macbeth is speaking too much. Macbeth very little. We will see. So here she says, what she says. I am reciting the passage lines. Your face, my Dane, is a book where man may read strange matters to beguile the time. Look like the time, bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under. Macbeth now arrives. And Lady Macbeth meets her husband for the first time after he has returned from the glorious and victorious battles. So Macbeth tells her that King Duncan is coming to stay at their castle tonight. So they must prepare. They must do the preparations for their king. But hearing these words, Lady Macbeth at once replies, and what she says? She says that King Duncan shall not see the light of the next day. If he is to come here today, then he will not be able to see the light of the next day. That is, he will be murdered today. So, we see that she has already decided, determined that King Duncan has to be murdered. Otherwise, Macbeth will not be able to become the king. So she's almost sure that Macbeth will not spare this opportunity. She is also sure that Macbeth will also be thinking in the same line of thought. So she thinks that Macbeth must also be thinking the same line, same thing that she is thinking. And as we have already come to know that she knows very well that her husband is very of kind nature, and he requires some persuasions. She feels that Macbeth needs some necessary persuasions to harden his wavering mind. His mind is very much wavering. So it is Lady Macbeth. Lady Macbeth thinks and feels that she would persuade him to make him hard, to make him harden for his wavering mind, so that his mind can also be fixed. So, in these lines, when she sees that Macbeth is fearing, Macbeth's face is not giving the right response, or the face is not happy, and he is he is feeling a kind of sadness. And I mean, the expressions on Macbeth's face are not supposed to be good as a host. Now he is host. He has to he has to welcome King Duncan today. So the expressions on his face should be like that way. He should not fear. But since we know that Macbeth is very emotional, very kind, very weak, so Lady Macbeth, looking at the expressions of Macbeth, she speaks these words. She says that she knows that Macbeth is not a habitual murderer. Therefore, he cannot conceal the expressions on his face. So, his face is revealing what is there in the mind. And we should also understand, and we should also remind what King Duncan said in the scene 4, that we cannot read the mind's construction through the face. But here, Macbeth's face is clearly indicating the construction of his mind. So, Lady Macbeth sees the wild and distracted looks of her husband, and therefore she is afraid that this may spoil the whole plan. If he is sad, if he is not looking well, then anyone can guess that there is something wrong. So she tells her husband not to let his face express his thought. Number one, he should not his face should not express his thoughts. What he is thinking, that should not be read through the face. Because Lady Macbeth is seeing that there was murder in his eyes, that he is planning to murder the King Duncan. So it is clear from his face, so he should conceal his facial expressions. She also says that Macbeth's face is like an open book in which a man may see what there is. You read these lines? Let's see the lines. Your face, my Thane, is a book. So Lady Macbeth says, oh my Thane, your face is like a book where anyone can read the strange matters, that what you are thinking in your mind, anyone can read. So she requests Macbeth to beguile the time, that he should deceive the time. He should try to deceive the time. Look like the time, and he should also look like the time. According to the circumstances, she should make the expressions. She should conceal, she should hide his inner thoughts. Bear welcome in your eye. She says that he should bear welcome attitude. Welcome expression should be there on his face, because they are going to welcome King Duncan. So make your eyes, they inviting eyes, as if they are inviting someone. That is the happy eyes. Your hand, your tongue. So you have to, she says, Macbeth, my dear, then you have to show that you are the host of King Duncan, and your tongue should speak, you should speak only that pleases the others with the smile. You must have the smile. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under. And then she says that he should look like the flower, innocent flower. That is, he should assume a perpetual smile of welcome to his guest. And he should look sweet and innocent, like a blossoming flower, as if the flower is blooming. And behind or under these flowers, he must hide his serpent attitude. He must act like a serpent. So the flowers are very beautiful flowers, giving the fragrance, blossoming flowers, but a serpent is hidden under those flowers. So here, like a serpent means Macbeth has to roll like a serpent hidden under the flowers, blossoming flowers. That is, his what he is going to do should be concealed, should be hidden, that should not come on his face. This is what she wants to say, and how she prepares him, and she also fears in the same way. So, again, she says that he should be poisonous with murderous thought, and he should look like an innocent flower. No one should suspect what is passing in his mind. So, this is the way how Lady Macbeth is preparing Macbeth for the murder. So, we understand that how Lady Macbeth is so much intelligent to read the mind as well as the heart of her husband. So, if we go with the critical comment for this scene, for the whole scene, some points are here. Number one, that we are introduced with Lady Macbeth in this scene. So, Lady Macbeth is introduced for the first time in this scene. Second, we also come to know about her nature, what kind of her nature. She is so stern stuff that she speaks. She invites the evil spirits to take away the breast from her heart, the milk from her breast. So such kind of the hard heart she had. And here we see that she has an important influence in shaping the conduct and destiny of Macbeth. Macbeth might not have the courage to yield to the temptation, but she is strong where he is weak. That is, in self mastery and in tenacity of purpose, she is very firm. And therefore, critics says that she acts as a fourth witch and even a worse witch within the castle. However, it is also to be noted that she is the nobler character of the two, because her ambition is for her husband, that I have already spoken, not for herself. Therefore, it is not she who kills King Duncan, but she just only talks of doing the deed. She just only manages the whole action, whole thing. So, this is what we have in the scene fifth. This is what we have in these lines, and these lines, two passages of this scene are very important from the examination point of view also. And if you have any confusions regarding these passages, if you have not followed, most welcome to us anytime, anywhere. Thank you very much.